Title: The River Bride, a boy married to a mermaid. They say the river never forgets. Some say it swallows, others say it saves. But for young Michael, the river did both. From a boy rescued from drowning to a man who could never keep a woman under his roof, this is the haunting story of a marriage that began beneath the waters and was sealed long before he ever knew what love was. The beginning. Michael was just 6 years old when his father, Mr. Thomas, took him to the river to help sell fish. It was a normal day in the quiet village of Springvale, where most families lived off the blessings of the river. Michael had always been a curious boy, always wandering too close to the riverbank. That day was no different. His father had turned his back for only a moment, but a moment was all it took. Michael slipped on a wet rock and fell into the water. The river was calm, but deep. The current pulled at his tiny body like unseen hands. His father dived in after him, but it was too late. Michael had disappeared beneath the surface. The villagers searched. His mother, Mrs. Clara, screamed his name. But just when hope was about to run dry, something miraculous happened. Michael emerged from the river, safe, silent, and completely dry. The strangest part? He claimed a pretty lady with golden hair and blue skin carried him to the shore. Everyone dismissed it as a child's imagination. But his father's face turned pale that day, and he never let Michael near the river again. Years passed, but Michael never forgot the lady in the water. When he turned 8, something strange began happening. Every morning before dawn, he'd hear a soft, melodious voice calling his name. Michael. Michael. He would rush to the kitchen expecting to see his mother, only to find her still asleep. Sometimes the voice came from the window. Sometimes it echoed from the trees near the stream behind their house. And every time he went to fetch water or help clean fish, he saw her, the same beautiful lady with golden hair, combing it by the water. She never spoke. She only smiled. But her eyes held a sadness that made his heart ache, even as a child. When he told his parents, his mother brushed it off as dreams. But his father? His father always went quiet, clenching his jaw, gripping his chair a little too tightly.
The city calls.
By the time Michael was 20, he was a strong, determined young man. He'd grown tired of the simple life. With the blessing of his parents, he moved to the city to find work and bring wealth home, and fortune seemed to favor him. He started as a driver's apprentice, then a store manager. Soon, he launched his own business dealing in agricultural supplies. In 3 years, Michael became one of the most respected young men in the city. He had money, he had influence, but what he didn't have was love. He tried. Oh, he tried. First came Grace, the tall, elegant teacher. They met at a conference. She moved in with him 2 months later. But on her first night in his house, she woke up screaming and fled, refusing to say what she saw. Then came Anna, the sweet nurse who adored him. She never lasted past the first weekend. She said the walls whispered at night, that the air turned icy, that she saw a face in the mirror that wasn't hers. One after the other, every woman he loved abandoned him, terrified, speechless, and shaking. Frustrated and confused, Michael returned to Springvale. He sat his parents down and demanded the truth. At first, they denied knowing anything, but his father broke down in tears. I didn't mean for it to happen, Mr. Thomas sobbed. That day you fell into the river. You died, Michael. You drowned. I searched everywhere, but then she came. Michael froze. She rose from the river, holding you in her arms. She was a mermaid, Michael. She told me she saved your life, but there was a price. She said she would protect you, give you long life and success, but in return, you would belong to her. She said she would marry you when you came of age. Michael couldn't breathe. You agreed? He whispered. I had no choice. I thought it was madness, but she vanished with you. We found you lying on the bank hours later, breathing, alive. I kept my silence, but she's been with you ever since. The journey to the river. The next morning, Michael demanded to see her. I need answers, he said. He went alone to the river at dawn, the same place where he nearly died. As the sun broke through the trees, the water shimmered and she rose. She was even more beautiful than he remembered. Her hair cascaded like waterfalls. Her eyes glowed like stars. She wore a crown of river lilies. Michael, she said, and her voice was the same voice he'd heard since he was a child. Why me? He asked. Because you are mine, she answered. I saved your life. I watched over you. I gave you success. I've loved you since the day I found you floating between two worlds. Michael felt tears run down his cheeks. Why can't I love another? Because your heart is tied to mine. You are married to me. Your soul is sealed by water. No woman can touch you. They sense it. They fear me. He knelt by the river, heart pounding. Then what happens now? She smiled. You choose. Stay with me or break the bond. But to do so, your life, your fortune, and your memories of me will all vanish. You will be reborn, but as a nobody. The decision. Michael looked back toward the village, toward the life he had built. But deep down, he knew. Every joy he'd ever known had been touched by her hand. She had always been there, watching, loving, protecting. He stepped into the river. I choose you, he whispered. The water rose around him like an embrace. His body shimmered, then vanished beneath the surface. From that day forward, Michael was never seen with a woman again. He returned to his home only once a year, on the anniversary of the day he first fell into the river. He stood by the shore, staring into the water, as if speaking to someone only he could see. Some say he lives beneath the river now. Some say he travels between the world of humans and the world of water. But one thing is certain, Michael was never alone. The end.